Hey guys, and welcome back to the Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game expansion review. Today we're doing the expansion for Dragoon by Lay Waste Games, the Rogue and the Barbarian. A really cool little expansion, but since you guys have probably already seen our review, and if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go ahead and go back and check out our review for Dragoon right now. Then we're going to talk about the new characters and their new abilities and how they kind of cooperate with the game. So let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, so this is the game Dragoon, and if you looked at our original video, you'll notice exactly how the game's set up and what all these things do. Population tiles, the board itself, the score marker. And you'll also notice these two new little guys here. You've got the Barbarian and you've got the Rogue. The Barbarian, the difference between him and the Dragons, because he does a lot of the same actions that the Dragons do, is he starts off the board on a location, and then he'll roll the die, the black die over here for instance, and he might get a 3 and he would move there. However, his ship can be destroyed and he can lose points for having the ship destroyed. He also gains levels throughout the game when he acquires currency, and he can level up. And as he levels up, he can use those levels to his benefit by drawing these cards and playing them depending on his level. So if he's level 4, he can play this one, or level 3, he can play this one. So that's kind of it's very similar to the regular deck of cards, but the Barbarian, because he gets to move like this, and if he's next to his ship, he can come off the board and go somewhere else. So he has that really free-flowing movement. He also can't be stolen from. His cave can't be stolen from. In fact, what happens instead is the Dragon can actually remove his ship for an action point and leave him kind of stranded, which is not very good for the Barbarian. So that's what he basically does. He has the same kind of deck, it just requires levels to do so, but he gets free flow movement. Whereas, and you know, just the same thing as well with these little population things. He can place populations as well, just like the Dragons can. The Rogue, on the other hand, is very, very, very different. He starts off the side of the board like the Barbarian does, but he gets a set of actions he can choose from every turn, and he can go up to a total of, I think, 4 different cards on his turn, and they do different things. He can rob population tiles, he can place down these wonderful little tunnels here, and when he does that, he can move from tunnel to tunnel. In fact, he can move from any tunnel to any tunnel that he's put on the board. But these tunnels can be destroyed by Dragons or Barbarians. The only way they can't be destroyed is if they're on these population tiles. They can't be destroyed unless the actual tile is destroyed. So he gets a lot of free-flowing movement. He's got Grappling Hook, which lets him spend an action to move a space. Instead, it can move you 2 spaces, which is really cool for him. And a bunch of other stuff. The Rogue specifically can't attack unless he has the Poison Dagger equipped, which is another ability. And otherwise, if somebody just lands in the same space as the Rogue, he would go ahead and be removed. He would just instantly lose. So the Rogue is very similar to these guys as well. The only difference is he has these action cards. And as he equips them, he gains more and more power. But when he starts the game, he's very weak. At the end of the game, he's actually able to move around the board. He's stealing from everybody and doing different things. He loses points whenever these tunnels go away. And he can lose points from other various ways and be removed from the board and have to come back on the board. But that's the basic idea of the difference between the Rogue and the Barbarian. Very similar to the Dragons, with some unique twists to their movement and to their abilities. So this expansion is really good. In fact, it's interesting to note, my buddy Josh, who did the original video, he really enjoyed Dragoon. And I think it's a pretty solid game. The one qualm I had with it is it's so random, and because of your movement, you're limited. So if you're on one side of the board as opposed to the other side of the board, and the other side is getting tons of population tiles, it's so hard to get over there. And you have to just pray that population tiles pop where you are so you can achieve those points. Because the most points you're going to get in the game is from population tiles. But with the Rogue, that changes everything. So if I want to play as the Rogue now, I can simply move around the board anywhere I want. So it gives you that free flow of movement. I also don't need to worry about actually populating tiles with this guy, because instead I can simply steal from yours, which is amazing. I love the idea of stealing, as well as the idea of moving from tunnel to tunnel. Now it has drawbacks. In fact, both characters have drawbacks, big ones. Because you get a bunch of free flow movement, and throughout the game you're going to get stronger with the Rogue, and the Barbarian is always just slightly good. The drawbacks are simple. The Rogue specifically gets smushed really easily, especially early game, until he equips all of his items. He gets smushed, he loses his tunnels and all that kind of stuff. Whereas the Dragons are a lot more on the balanced area. So these two guys kind of have a disproportionate balance on movement, really good movement, fighting really weak for the Rogue. Barbarian, for instance, he gets great movement. However, as soon as he loses his little ship, it goes off the board. He almost kind of wants to die because he actually has the detriment of having to level up by, you know, gaining these levels to play these cards. And the cards aren't really that much better than the other main deck. It's more of, because he's got such great movement with his ship, he actually has to suffer a little penalty. So that's kind of what the levels do, which is still cool. And he works just like a dragon in a lot of senses, because he still requires the little population tiles, and he scores points that way. Well, the rogue is actually scoring points by placing his little tunnels and stuff like that on the locations, and when people roll, he'll gain the benefits that those people gain. So two really, really unique and interesting pieces added to the game that makes the movement problem that I dislike really not an issue at all. So if you don't mind the original dragons, you can still play with those, but for me, I'm pretty much always going to play with this Barbarian, because I love the style of character. The style of play for this is amazing. I don't even mind sometimes dying, losing those 3 coins and losing the levels, so that I can move anywhere on the board I want. But it's also kind of a detriment. So with this expansion added to the game, it is a guaranteed buy for me. As previously, I enjoyed it because it was too random for me. But with this, it takes a lot of the randomness out. Also, with this and a couple dragons, it works really well. The last thing I want to say is with 6 players, it's a crazy, crazy game, and there's tons of craziness going on. Still really, really fun. Adds a bit of randomness, but still not enough to where I dislike it. But definitely a 4-player game, hands down. And with this expansion, oh my gosh, a great game. Thanks for watching another Unfiltered Gamer board game review. If you want to see more of this content, go ahead and check out the rest of our videos here on YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, if you like this content, you can go ahead and check out our website, unfilteredgamer.com. There we have tons of giveaways, blog posts, and other great stuff, as well as checking out our affiliated websites, thegiveawaygeek.com and everythingboardgames.com. Alright guys, that's it for this one, and we look forward to seeing you next time.